So Abhay, look, really pleased to have you on the MedTech Leaders podcast. This is just a platform to have casual conversations with medical device leaders, founders, and professionals to discuss their journey, learn a bit more about what they do, why they do it, and for them to share their insights for other aspiring professionals within the industry. You've obviously got 35 plus years experience in this in the industry across various companies and various positions. So it'd probably be useful to just start with a little bit about your background, if you don't mind.
So, let me tell you my education by wise. I'm a microbiologist, and then I did my management degree way back in 1988. So, and then I have a you know uh, opportunity of working with the various organization from the uh, very basic level. I started as a functioning as a product executive, and then uh, I had an opportunity to work in a organization where I could learn about the product development, uh, how to bring the projects, field projects, international business, domestic business. If look back and I see, it's a very passionate, uh, satisfying journey of 38 years in medical industry. And I had an opportunity of working in not only in the medical device industry, but in hygiene industry, as well as in API and pharmaceutical as well. So it was a quite a bit of a long journey in healthcare industry. So I've dealt with the sales, I've dealt with the international business, I've dealt with the certification, I've dealt with the uh, product development, uh, going into, if I say global business, I've been to 106 countries, and so it was always very um, very refreshing to go back and see those countries where you started running and then flourishing your businesses for different companies. So it is all very satisfying,
Yeah,
and very, it gives you a immense pleasure when you see you was the only flag bearer 4 decade backs, when I was the only guy who used to travel out of India for medical business, and now there are a huge number of guys are traveling doing big businesses. So it's all good, gives you a good experience and feeling.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And do you mind just talking us through, because I appreciate there's a lot of years of experience there. So you've mentioned you've worked across so many different departments within medical devices. Do you mind just explaining a bit more about what you're currently doing?
So currently, I work with Chiron as a uh, CEO and managing director, uh, professionally heading the company. Um, uh, my responsibilities goes from international business to domestic business to arranging the correct finances and bringing the right product mix, correcting the current product mix, then developing the manufacturing line more, making it more efficient, uh, more quality efficient. Uh, Beside this, the my major thrust is to improve the production by bringing the latest technology, not only in terms of the machines and the uh, automation, but also improving the molds. And because the in the plastic industry, molds are the key area which needs to be improved, and India is doing quite a good in this area. So all these area I concentrate, and then making one of the area which I'm doing nowadays a lot of work is improving my timeline by improving the productivity, which is key to success. That is what I feel always.
Absolutely, absolutely. And
And beside this, this is one area. And then because I reached to that level where I still feel I have a lot of time, so I have started helping the companies. The budding companies, new companies are coming up. So I help them by guiding them for the how to bring the project in a correct way, giving them right directions, helping them how to take the product into international business, or how to reach out in the domestic market by taking your product, helping them to bring the correct product line. So this is also the area where I'm enjoying nowadays. Not only for money, but certainly I enjoy being a uh, many companies are asking me to be mentor to them, so it gives me kind of a uh, uh, it helped me to feel a little uh, this is the way I can contribute back to the industry which has given me immensely. So this is what I'm currently doing.
yeah, and I think we're very fortunate to have you on the podcast for that reason, because I think people listening who might be aspiring founders or existing founders just trying to develop their company and are thinking of the best way of doing it. Can you maybe, I know it's a very broad question, Abhay, like, but with
But I
your,
tell you, but because I want to add this, the which you was mentioning about the some other podcast reference.
yeah,
The biggest problem nowadays in India is post-COVID. What happened is that there is a lot of young generation with a lot of money has came into the healthcare industry
okay,
because they feel this is a business where they are going to make a lot of money. But unfortunately, many new companies which has came in recent are not able to do good because of number of reasons. One, they don't have any idea about the product combination they have to bring in. They don't know what is the kind of the quality they have to bring in. They don't know what kind of the certification they need. And the biggest challenge for them is they don't know how to take the product to the users. So the healthcare industry, the user is a hospitals. So they have no idea how to take the product to the end user and present the product so they start getting used in the and get the platform for them. So that is the biggest challenge which I have observed in last 2 3 years when there's a rush of companies which is coming. Somebody is a son of a property dealer, so he has a lot of money, so he comes into this business. Somebody is a son of a automobile manufacturer, so he comes into the business and have no clue how to take it to the real users or how to present your product. So I'm helping them and I'm guiding them wherever it is being asked to me. So that's it.
no, I really appreciate that insight. So, I mean, obviously, if you now look back on your career, you worked from the ground up, right, across so many different departments. Would you say that now looking back, working across all those different departments has essentially helped you massively in building medical device businesses? Like, would you say?
So the best teaching you get is the market. And I feel when I was interacting with all the medical companies and users, so you get the best idea what product you want to have, why they want to look those kind of a products and why we don't have that product. So that is the biggest guidance you get when you go into the meeting the right people in the industry. Those are consuming the product, not selling the product, consuming the products. Or per se, for example, I give you, when I used to travel in Europe, I was fortunate that I was able to interact with big companies in Europe. And when I was interacting with their product managers, or they used to take me to the local hospitals, I would able to understand the product which we are making and what exactly they are looking the difference. So we are able to do the gap analysis, and that was the biggest, so what kind of the guidance we got, that this is the way we have to go, which has helped us to offer a right product. And when you offer a right product, normally you get a success. And when you get a success in international business or domestic hospitals, it's always encouraging. And
Hmm.
then you start looking at a right path, and company also start getting flourishing into the right direction. So always funding is not important, it is the right product, placing the right way. And you must know the right way of uses of the product. And if you start understanding the entire the the anatomy of the product, then it become easier to present that product and manufacture that product and market that product. So it's easier to say, but it's a long process.
Sure. And I'll be like, uh, in terms of getting the right product, what steps should any medical device founders and directors be taking to ensure their product is the right market fit? What should they be doing?
I think I again will say the same thing. I saw many people, they go to the they just speak to somebody who is uh, a wholesaler or distributor, and ask him what is the best product and the fast moving product, and somebody says, oh, it is a disposable syringes which I moves every day in the biggest large quantity, and they went into the production of syringes, and that is the mistake they does. So I feel they have to understand what are the areas. So they have to go to the hospital and ask the people who are a user that what kind of the product they are getting, what are the problems they are facing with the current product, what are the changes that is required those products, what are the refinement has to be done so it becomes more user friendly. And if there is a issue on the prices, they must understand why it is so expensive, whether it is a manufacturing cost is a issue, or the supplied gap of supply is a issue. So I personally feel whenever you decide to go into any segment, you have to go and speak to the end user, you have to go into the hospitals, you have to go into and meet the exact users those are supposed to use that product. You have to go and research in the market the quantities which are being getting used, if there is any supply gap or there is oversupply of those products, what kind of. And then you have to do a back analysis. If I'm going to produce this product, for example a syringe, it is going to cost me how much, is the pp is going to be used, how much is the needle is going to cost me, what kind of the packaging I need to do, and then sterilization process, and ultimately when I am going to ready with my product, how much is the logistic cost, and my when I'm going to throw it into the market, how I'm going to promote this product so I can differentiate my product with the existing supplier. And when you're able to find there is a sufficient margin for you to present your product, brand your product, and you make a differentiation in the current user, then only you have to enter into the market. Otherwise, it is a useless. But most of the company which I see, still they first decide the product, put up the project with
Hmm.
some a guy who only knows about the bringing the kind of some machine. They do the compromise on bringing, while they are deciding the machine, they do the lot of compromise on the quality of machine, they do a lot of compromise on the molds and the molding machines, and ultimately the results are always very disturbing. And when they are not able to bring the right product for the right market, they blame to the you know industry and other thing, but it is they themselves are supposed to be responsible for that. This is what. So I always believe if you are not doing the groundwork, you are not doing the research work, and if you don't have a proper homework for the product, don't enter into the product or any market, whether it is a healthcare product or any other product. Uh, this has to be uh, this is the path they have to choose. They have to spend, if they want to bring the product next year, they have to spend half of the time for the research before they can go into the project implementation. whether there is a green project or it is a they are doing a takeover of a company. But it has to be, a thorough studies in the market.
Sure, sure,
Also,
absolutely.
one of the area which is very difficult, which is making people's life difficult is nowadays people feel they will go to the some exhibition. They go to Medica, brings 200 catalogs, and then they decide, there was a 50 pupils were displaying this kind of a product. It means it has a huge market, so let's do it like this. So that is also one of the practices people are doing, which is has to be avoided.
Very interesting. So, from your perspective, then, how important is it to differentiate to what's already out there as well? So, just on that example, you said someone looks up, someone is selling 50 of these products. Do you need to be doing something different? Would you, if you look at the market now, do you think you need to be doing something differentiated to other competitors?
No, see, if somebody is selling the syringes, you cannot differentiate the syringe, no? Syringe
Yeah.
has to be syringe. But the difference has to be whether there is a gap in supply or not. That has to be assessed. If there is a gap in the market for supplying, then only you have to choose or, target that product. Uh, Suppose everybody has decided, I give you example. I was speaking to one of the guy. I say, how many syringes project have came in India last year? 48 new projects have came in India for manufacturing the syringes, and everybody is sitting on their manufacturing facility
Hmm.
because they have no clue how to make the money out of that project, which they have borrowed the money. Somebody has put it his father's money. Somebody has arranged the money somehow by selling off his existing business, but they have no clue what they are going to do with the product once it is ready. So
Yeah.
you have to do a gap analysis. If industry required, if this industry is going to justify the place in the market or not, if this product is required in the market or not, is there any gap in the supplies chain or not. I mean, people are not doing those kind of analysis. And once you have zeroed down on the product, yes, there's a supply gap for this product, they have to understand what are the different type of products are available, and if I can add any value to the product or not. So that is the second stage, but first they have to understand if there is any uh, gap is available for that product or not. So that is what I feel. And what is happening is nowadays, uh, earlier the industry means China, Vietnam, Korea, somehow India. These are the countries those were producing. But nowadays, if you go to even in Africa, there are many products are getting locally produced.
Mm, mhm.
So you have to understand before deciding that whether local industry is available or not. Hygiene is such a product, diapers and all. It is very difficult to uh, freight the those product manufacturing and then dispatch them logistically to Africa or other countries, because the cost of logistic is very high. So you also have to look into that which market you are targeting for that product. So
Sure.
some are the products you have to produce for local market. Some of the product you have to target for international business. Then you have to look the countries you are going to have, and then you have to look whether your facility is going to, able to justify the certification requirement or not for that country. If you are targeting that particular country, so you have to look at the whole. It is not only a one phenomena which you have to look. You have to give a lot of time to your preparation before you jump into some project.
Yeah, sure, sure. And you've already touched on it. What does that mean in terms of action? So just talking more to hospitals and actually like what should someone do and how long do you think they should spend roughly in terms of
Just
ground?
give me a moment, because somebody is going to disturb me.
No worries.
Sorry,
No, no worries at all. I was just
my
going to.
my son is getting married, and a lot of work is going on in my
Oh,
home.
nice.
So a lot of work is happening in my house. and that is something which is,
Yeah.
yes.
Well,
So sorry, I missed your last question. Yes.
no, no, I was just going to say, like, so you mentioned about doing the groundwork. Like, have you got a bit of a recommendation in terms of what people should do and how long they should do it? Like, I know you already answered it, but just in terms of, I think you said talking to hospitals, how else should people be doing their market research to assess
See,
the demand? And
See,
yeah.
there's a no, you cannot, beside the market research, because it cannot be a time bound. You have to do it until unless you are happy with your market research. I think you have to spend the time. But besides the time which you are spending in the market, you have to benchmark also uh, with the, with the product you are targeting. So benchmarking is something also one of the phenomena you have to add into your market research before you jump. I mean, I'm sure 99.9% time people are only uh, picking the product from the market. So when you have a predicate device which you want to copy, you have to benchmark that what are the deficiency in that product, or what are the features that product is missing, and I can add value to that. So that is the something which they have to decide. And once they decide the product, they have to do research, another research they have to do. What are the machines are involved? What are
Mm,
the automation is involved?
mm.
And if they have sufficient money for that or not. In India, the biggest challenge is that people are not spending good money on the automation. Most of the people want to make a beautiful building, but they don't want to spend a good amount of money, which is supposed to be the priority for good molds, good molding machines, good automation, good assembly machines. They are not spending, or even not spending the money on the good, perfect operational clean room. They want to have a clean room which is not functional but looks like a clean room. So that is another challenge.
Yeah.
So when somebody, because most of the people feel that the clean room has to be only for the people who are visiting and looking at their plant, they can see. So they have no understanding that what is the purpose of having a clean room and producing your product in the clean room area in a correct fashion. So these are the area, because they don't come from a correct industry, so their background is different while they are deciding, and they are not hiring the right professional to execute their projects. So this is also one of the area. So I feel when you decide a project and a product, then you have to hire the right people to get your project executed in a right, correct way.
And just on the
The
hiring, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, I'll finish, please.
So in India, people, they will tell somebody, I want to start this. Can you refer somebody? And then ABC guy will come and he will tell, I am the expert on this. And then they have going to have all the troubles in their manufacturing.
Okay.
So they don't want to understand, if they have decided to be in the medical disposable industry, what are my responsibility towards the product, how my product is going to be complying the requirement of the healthcare industry. So they are not having their own awareness, and they because they don't have a own awareness, the outcome is always a doubtful, whether on the quality, whether on the sterilization, and all also on the correct prices, so, or functionality. So this is what is the biggest challenge currently the industry is facing.
Absolutely. You kind of touched on it there as well. Some people are hiring the wrong people. Have you got any advice for people on who they should be hiring and how to assess the right hires? Like, how do you build a good team?
So that is again, it's a subject of analysis. For example, you have reached to me, so you did some kind of a, you must have spent a lot of time, and you must have did some kind of a research to reach out to the people like me.
Yeah,
Otherwise, how you are going to run your own podcast, or the other business which you are handling? So this is what is the responsibility of somebody who is want to bring a project, want to have a facility. must do a research like what he has done for the product. They must do the similar kind of a research to reach out to the right person. And
Sure.
then they must do a clean interview. I mean, it has to be more specific on the knowledge of a person rather than the what is the money he is going to charge. So
Mm.
what happened is the third world countries, their first question is how much money you are going to charge us, rather checking whether he's a compatible guy or he is a guy which he needs. The more emphasis is on the money he's going to charge. So the cheapest guy they like, and
Yeah.
that is another challenge.
Yeah, we see it from a regulatory standpoint as well. That like I see, and it concerns me. Medical device companies are trying to cut their costs on regulatory, and it then has problems later on. Non-conformances takes longer to get to market. So I think when you cut the cost, you end up paying for it in other places, right? Later down the line.
I was out of India and I visited a plant 2 days back, somebody's, and the owner was known to me, and he said, we are facing a lot of problem in quality." So I said, "What about your QA?" So he said, "QA is perfect." So I said, if your QA is perfect, you should not have a problem in the QC,
Yeah,
because if somebody has written a right SOPs, then QC has to only follow.
yeah,
So, uh, and then on the same basis, if SOPs are written correctly, it means your process is good. Then the production is going to be the quality production only, or either. So then I asked the QA guy who was in charge. He said, "I've come from this background, that background," and I said, "Can you uh, write me a a, a product?" One product I'm giving you, can you write the simple one script that how I'm going to decide the physical and uh, clinical evaluation of this product? Just write me a one page of this. And this guy said, I have no experience of this product. So what happened is, when you decide to hire a people, if you're not concentrating on a on hiring a right person, your problem starts already. You already have somebody who is going to be the solution for your problems in quality. You already has a wrong person. So what happened is, your problem already started in a quality by
yeah.
hiring a wrong person. So this is what is the basic problem in every company I go, and it is not limited to Indian market. I'm talking. It is very prevalent even in the USA. When I go and I see the people, they have also the very narrow way of looking, especially in the healthcare, that the guy who are supposed to control the quality is the least competent person they are putting over there.
Mm.
So this is one of the area which. So I think when you have, there are 5 P's when you are deciding the 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 business. The first is the product. The second is the correct production line which you have to have. The third is the person you are hiring, packaging and policy, and then the price is the last thing. So if somebody is not working on these 5 P's, the output is going to not be the best. Of course they could be able to make the sales, but still they will keep on struggling with one or other problem.
Sure,
So
sure.
I personally feel these people has to I mean, while they are deciding the product, they have to be very means serious on their market research. Same on when they are hiring the people, they have to be very serious. When they're putting the production line, they have to be do a lot of research, check the machines and the infrastructure which they are putting in place is correct or not. So these are the things which people normally miss.
Absolutely. No, that's really good advice. So like don't look at the cost, look at the competence of the person in a nutshell is what you're.
Absolutely, because if you save little cost and still fail in your project, what is the fun of putting the project?
Yeah, true, true. What about this part of it? Like, so I speak to a lot of founders. They say, "Oh, I've got a great. I've done all the research. I've got a great product. I just don't have the funding. I need someone who can invest in me. Have you got any advice for someone? Firstly, is that a valid issue? Do you think lots of people do have good ideas, but at the end of the day, medical devices is an expensive industry as well. Have you got any advice for people trying to get funding? How they can do it? How should they approach it? Have you got any advice on that?
So I personally feel, I mean, somebody who has not done his homework is always going to have this kind of a situation. I mean, when you are making 1,000 pound in a month, you know how to run your kitchen. You're not going on 15 to on the street and asking people, I'm run out from my glossary, and now I what I should do. This is like a situation. So when you are putting your project until you are going to finish, you must have a correct funding line. If you don't have a funding line, I'm sure the biggest mistake you are doing is entering into a project.
Okay. Okay.
I
What,
mean, this is how come somebody else is responsible to finish your project.
Yeah, yeah, sure. But have you got any advice though? Be like, let's put the investor hat on. So, an investor, what do they want to see from a device? How should you present it? What things do you need to explain?
See what
Like,
is happening in that there is a tech industry
okay,
where the funding comes when you have an idea. On the idea, people start funding you. But manufacturing is not something which goes like a tech industry. On the manufacturing front, people is fund going to fund you on the basis of outcome from your factory, not on the outcome on your idea. Tech is a different industry. So sometimes people carried away with their ideas and they feel that they are going to sell their ideas in the market, and then they will finish the project by getting the funding. It is not happening. Out of 100, maybe one get this kind of a funding, but normally it is not happening. You have to have a product ready. You have to establish the fact that product is a functional. You have to establish the fact that it is can be sold in the market. You have to establish the fact it is a useful product, and then people are going to spend or fund you if it in the manufacturing normally.
okay, okay. So you're saying try and get everything right from your end first before you approach investors.
But there are other way around also. I tell you, I made a one project when I was in Paramount. I was traveling to US, and I was speaking to one of the companies. They are one of the biggest company in USA, and I was visiting them for 8 years regularly, and I was not getting the breakthrough for the product which we were manufacturing.
Hmm.
And I was very upset that every time I'm going there, they are asking me for prices and quantities and quality assessments, and then their team is visiting my plant, and afterwards suddenly everything goes to copper. There nobody is speaking anything on that. Then again the year pass, and I again visit them, and the same story is repeated for 8 years. And I was very upset. I said, do you guys are serious to do business with me, or you want me to keep on doing like this only? And then he said, do you can you help us with this product? And the lady who was assisting the vice president of that company went to her room and bring the product. And I saw the product, and without looking at anything, and I said, yes, I can produce this product for you. So she said, really? I said, tell me how much you are going to move. So she gave me some figure. So I said, okay, then I need a funding also, because you are going to the my only customer at this moment for this. Why should I spend my money? So they say,
Mm,
okay, we will share the funding 50%. I said, then first 50% will come from you, the next 50% we will put. So I'm giving you example that this kind of a project funding will come. But if you are starting from a scratch, nobody is going to
yeah,
believe you for any product which you are going to churn out from your facility, and they are going to finance you. It is not happening. No
yeah,
bank, no investor, no VC fund. Nobody is going to put the money like that. It is
sure,
not happening in the manufacturing industry. Tech industry, certainly it is happening.
sure. I just want to also ask you a bit about the hiring the right people, where you said do your homework. But have you got any advice on early on which hires you should be making? Because there's so many different departments, right? Product development, sales, logistics. So what should you be focusing your attention on? Because funds are limited right early on. So where should you focus your attention mostly?
I think you need the first and foremost is a guide which is going to guide you, or the consultant you must have. If you don't know about the industry, you must have a right mentor, maybe a consultant, maybe a project engineer. You must have first the guy on your role, or maybe on the contractual basis, but you must have the guy who understands the industry where you are entering. And if you have that guy, your half problem is already over.
Hmm,
Then the remaining is the execution part, and then with the flow you can keep on hiring the people as your project grows.
sure, sure. I
But I
guess it,
feel
yeah, sorry.
the first guy has to be consultant or the expert who knows better than you. I mean, I give you example. I was speaking to a gentleman. He runs the world's biggest tannery in India, and he is absolutely an educated guy. His father was making the leather himself, standing in the chemical, you know, buckets, and then he was making. And then from there, this guy is also not a very educated guy, and but he made one of the biggest and largest tannery in India. And I asked him a simple question. I said, "You was doing the same work like your father was doing?" He said, "Yes." But I said, "How come you become so big?" He said, "I was hiring the people uh, who knows more than me for every area which I was looking to bring in." And that is what is the your criteria also. So when you are hiring, you must hire a person who knows better than you about the product, better than you about the whatever the area you are hiring. So if you are able to assess that kind of the guide, so then your half problem is over. Problem will be there. I mean, I'm not telling that you are going to run a project without any problem. Problems are going to be bound to be there, but you have to minimize your problem by bringing the right people at the right time, so your process continue in a correct direction.
Yeah. It might be a good time for me to ask Abhay, like, because you mentioned why a lot of people are struggling in the industry who don't have knowledge, they're coming in trying to develop a product. Have you got capacity to take on other people in a mentorship capacity? Like, how should people reach out to you if you
I
do?
love I love doing that.
Yeah.
And if you go through my LinkedIn profile, I have mentioned that I'm heading the Chiron, but I love to help all the people who are. I'm getting close to 60, so I'm into industry 37, 38 years. Not Most of the international buyers and companies knows me, so. I love sharing my whatever I know with people, and I feel more than money. I enjoy doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what's the best way for people to reach out to you? Like, should they just connect with you on LinkedIn and message? How should people reach you?
That is the best way. I think that is the
Okay,
best way to reach me on my LinkedIn, and then we can contact each other.
perfect. I know I've taken a lot of your time, but probably the last thing I want to actually just ask you a bit about Sheeran Surgeon in terms of what are your like medium to long term goals with that. Now, I'm just interested to hear what are your priorities.
So my first priority is, I told you, is to keep on growing Chiron, whatever the way I can do. I
Yeah,
have reduced my duration from first January. I will be spending 3 days only in Chiron, and 3 days and hour day I spend on my consultancy, because so my if you ask me, my both are my long term goals. Like, consultancy gives me a kind of a satisfaction which I always enjoy by improving or helping somebody. And certainly Chiron is one of the company which from the inception I was involved as a professional. So it gives me another kind of a feel that yes, this is the company has to grow. So both area I enjoy doing, and I till I will be allowed to do so, I will continue doing that.
Yeah, sure. I know, like, I don't want to talk about anything sensitive, but what's your like? Can you elaborate a bit more on what Chiron you're trying to do with it in terms of are you trying to take it into other markets? What's some of the priorities with it at the moment?
So the biggest challenge currently with Chiron is I told you, is we are not able to match the productivity with
Yeah,
our sales growth, and that is something which I want to overcome in the immediate future. That is my first priority, and second priority is once we have a good productivity, I want to take it to my certification part. I want to take over my certification part. I want to finish that in the medium term of my targets. And then certainly the areas where we are not able to enter is like US market, Europe currently, because of the absence of my certification. So these are my goals for Chiron. We don't have any problem on the sales front. We are enjoying steady growth. The problem is that we are not able to catch up on the production front, which I want to correct that.
absolutely. Look, I won't take more of your time, Abhay. It's been really useful for me, and I think for people listening, the knowledge you've managed to accumulate and the fact that you are available to help people in a tough industry.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's the most satisfying thing which I enjoy doing every day.
No, perfect. And yeah, look, so
And
what
I
we'll do.
even and many of the people, when they don't have they don't want to pay me, they calls me and ask me questions, and they get away without paying me all the advice, and I still enjoy. So it's always satisfying, very satisfying.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. No, thanks so much for your time. Yeah, hope
Thanks,
you
Junaid.
enjoy your function. And
And
yeah,
next week we will catch up.
absolutely, absolutely. I'll send you an invite.
Thank you. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Abhay. Thank you. Thanks.